But I'm gonna get off my soapbox because sometimes I get on it and I get myself in trouble sometimes doing that. But it really doesn't bother me because like my wife just left this morning. I hope she's listening right now. She had a gift card. I said, "Is that my gift card?" She said, "No." I said, "Okay." Well, I told her, "Well, you my gift every day. You a gift to keep on giving." Instead of saying thank you, dear, she said, "I also take too." I said, "What?" See, now come on now. I know she listening because I'm calling her out. See, she can't come back and say anything. So I said, I thought it was give and take, not take and take. And she told me, read the marriage, whatever she always call it all the time. I said, I haven't found that contract yet. I'm looking for that contract. So guys, be aware of that. It happens. It's a Wednesday morning. I'm up. I'm having fun this morning. I don't care what anybody say. This is my time. Oh well, actually, it's Joseph time, but I'm taking credit for it today. This morning, I'm making sure that we're all set up, and just let everybody know we're broadcasting live on Facebook, Twitch, and on YouTube. And starting next week, we should be broadcasting live on Instagram too. So we're getting everything set up for that. So that's 4 platforms that we're going to be on. And I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. Sharon, she is an avid watcher. She's on all the time. She's always sending me things to make sure that I'm in check. And, I appreciate that. Not the Sharon that y'all know of. This is another Sharon. This at one time we had like 4 Sharons on. This is Sharon Anderson I'm talking about. So we appreciate her being on. Without further ado, let me make sure I got everything set. Good morning, Mr. Joseph.
Meet you. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everything over there in Japan?
Hey, it's getting a little chilly. You guys are about 1 degree warmer than we were
Oh,
today.
oh,
So it just lets you know San Antonio is holding it down. It's a little cold over here in Japan, but I can't really complain. 60 degrees is never too bad compared to what we could be getting.
yeah.
And to shout out to my folks up in Michigan who may be getting some cold weather coming soon. Get the fireplace ready up there and the furnace is all checked out so y'all can deal with that up there. So,
Yeah, they're
but yeah,
going.
everything's going pretty good. A little wet, a little rainy, but hey, I can't complain. I can't complain.
When you was talking about that, jumping about the weather, that El Nino, they said it's going to be the strongest ever, and which it means they say it's going to be slightly warmer in the northern states. I don't know what slightly warmer mean, not below zero, but it's supposed to be more cooler in the south, in Texas and all that, and a lot more precipitation. So we don't know if that's going to be ice, snow, or rain. We never know here in South Texas, but El Nino is no joke. The last time we had that snow here, I think you were here. We had that snow for like 2 or 3 weeks on the ground. We couldn't go anywhere. And
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
yeah, and some saying we may have the same situation this year. So what I did, I went out and pulled out my generator that I bought. It wouldn't crank up, but I got it going right now just to make sure. I got to go out and buy me a couple of space heaters. I'm just being precautious. That's all.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I know the last time, yeah, I was there when the snow hit. I was actually, yeah, I'm from Michigan, so I was sitting in the hot tub when when all that snow was coming down, and laughing, and then I knew later on that night it was going to be a little more serious than I originally thought. Then I
Yeah,
saw it starting to stick, and then it really started to stick. I said, "Oh, this is going to be a problem." Not because it was a lot of snow, but just because I know how Texas or San Antonio area and Dallas and all that was prepared for that. And sure enough, pipes started breaking.
yeah,
PVC pipe that they were building the houses with, started breaking and all that. So hopefully people are better prepared. Hope that grid is ready this
yeah,
time, so they don't have to go through all that. But
yeah,
we'll see. It's the weather. It's not predictable.
yeah. Well,
So
one thing I want to bring up
that's
that
what it is.
I've been bringing it up all the time on Martha Rice. She had a show this Monday. She had this guy on named Stephen Hutchison, a
Yeah,
tax
I caught that.
yeah, a tax strategist, and the stuff he laid out and laid down. Um, Martha, I had called her after the interview. She said, "Ron, the look on your face was priceless when he said $500 a day." I said, "Yeah." For those you don't know, this thing was passed. It was called the Corporate Transparency Act, which is supposed to
Hmm.
stop money laundering, drug trafficking, and all that stuff. So if you hear the word corporate, you think of the big companies, but they focusing only on small businesses. And they said a small business is $5 million or less they make a year, must have under 25 employees and all that. So what they're doing, they're really I don't know. To me, we gotta be educated on this law that's coming up. That's all I have to say because there's nothing we can do about it now but educate ourselves and educate each small business person. This affects everybody. Don't make a difference who it is. I don't care if you're white, black, polka dotted, green. Don't make a difference. If you got a small business, then you need to tune in and listen because we're gonna try to have Mr. Hutchinson on at least once a month to go over the new details of what's going on. And I pass it along to you, Joseph, because basically we're all small business right now.
Yeah, I've since I'm working internationally, I'm already uh, looking into my CPAs and other tax professionals and all that. So this is just one more thing that you got to be mindful of, and it's kind of crazy. It's the small businesses. It seems like we're getting the short end of the stick far too often.
Yeah.
But we just got to vote accordingly. We know who's making these crazy legislative, efforts, and we got to get up their butts out of office. I mean, to make a long story
Yeah.
short, it's time for them to go. It's nothing to me. We talked about this before. It's a lot of the, refried Reaganomics, the trickle down philosophy that the wealthier keep getting wealthier, the smaller businesses, keep getting the short end. And we've got to vote common sense, right?
Yeah.
And we got things that we're gonna have to look at and hold folks accountable. But the first thing is, well, I like and give a shout out to the show is making people aware of the changes and the laws that are passing. Because a lot of times we don't find out this stuff is passed until after it's passed and we're dealing with it. So
Yeah.
shout out to you for having and Martha, one of the impact team collaborators, the collaborators, and the tax gentleman, I forget his name, but yeah, I caught as much of the show as I could, but started looking at stuff up, and I said, well, we'll be talking to the CPAs and whatnot about this mess, make sure that we're where we need to be and having our paperwork right, because I definitely don't want to be paying $500 a day for
Yeah.
nothing. I might want to make that, but I'm not trying to spend it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
that's how that should break down. But you know, um, it's kind of crazy where we're at in the world. It's a good thing to be in mental health because I
Yeah.
got a lot of a lot of work. And the topic I want to talk about tonight, my wife was like, hey, I always have a panel of folks that say, bring up this topic, bring up this topic. Well, I really want to bring up this topic tonight again. I think we did it a few weeks ago on domestic violence. I think
Yes.
it's really important, and we just had in the news, Jonathan Majors just being convicted of a domestic violence incident, and it's just sad all the way around. It's sad that that had to happen. It's also sad of what happened is happening to his career. I know Disney just dropped him, Marvel just dropped him, so we're talking about millions and millions of dollars that this man has lost because of basically anger management and not respecting, his significant other and not knowing how to de-escalate and think about situations. And I think that we hear it all the time. And I want to talk about just the rich folks. I think Jonathan Majors. I think he'll be okay. Um, he's a phenomenally talented actor. I know that it's just sad at the beginning of his takeoff, so to speak, that he gets hit with something like this or he gets involved with something like this. But we have to teach our young men and ladies about domestic violence, healthy relationships early. And what was crazy is if you read the text on what was said or the video that came out where he was comparing himself to, trying to have a woman, a wife like Dr. King, and, comparing himself to Barack Obama. Slow down a little bit, first of all. Like,
Yeah.
I know maybe you have some alcohol in your system or whatever the case may be. But first of all, I think those are some pretty big shoes that you're trying to fill by being an actor. I get it. You're a role model. You have influence. Maybe you have some alcohol in your system or whatever the case may be. But first of all, I'm getting an echo. I don't know if that's on my end or on your end.
I got it fixed. That's me.
Okay. But it just shows kind of maybe the thought process was a little delusional at that point. Obviously, he's an up and coming celebrity, a star, but he did bring up a good point that he needs to pick someone who is a better fit for him. Number one, and number two, I think he needs to pick someone. He needs to get himself together first before you try to get into a relationship, and get caught up like that. But learning how to control your temper, de-escalate, especially, when you have so much on the table. We've seen celebrities lately, big celebrities, losing their temper. Will Smith, the slap that's heard around the world with Chris Rock. We've seen now Jonathan Majors and the things go on and on. You've got Diddy right now, Puff Daddy or brotherly love, whatever he wants to call himself right now. I don't know what he calls himself, but he's now shelling out tens of millions of dollars, and I think he's actually being charged with something right now. So what is going on? Is just a lack of control, a lack of there's some things that we got to work on with our young men. And, shout out to Capital League, shout out to the Divine Night organizations that are mentoring young men, young ladies, and instilling, hopefully, these values of healthy relationships. To my other colleagues in mental health that are working on these social skills. And I'm going to tell you something. It's a lot of work that we have to do with the younger generation of social skills. In front of a screen, in front of the iPads, in front of the Nintendo Switches, in front of the, computers, social skills are kind of going to the left. I mean, I'm seeing it even with my baby girl. She likes to get in front of a screen, and she gets shy in front of people until she warms up, and then wow, she's talking to you like she's 20, 30 years older, right? Because she's advanced. But those social skills are key. You being able to express yourself. Is very important. And then also knowing what to do if you find yourself in a domestic violence situation. So I want to get this number out real quick because there is a 24-hour service available for people that are in domestic violence situations. And that number is 1-800-799-SAFE. The number is 1-800-799-SAFE. And that's 1-800-799-7233. Again, 1-800-799-7233. And then you can also text START to 88788. So you can text START to 88788. So just, kind of knowing when you're in a unhealthy relationship. And one of the things I noticed when I was looking at how, at least how the trial went for Jonathan Majors, it said it progressed to violence, right? So it didn't start there, it progressed. So when you see the tendencies for violence, when you see the tendencies of aggression, that should be a red flag, and I don't care how much money a person has. I don't care what stature a person has. It's not worth your peace of mind. And God forbid, it's definitely not worth your life, Amen. So if you are dating somebody or considering somebody, you first see that red flag of them being irrational. You get into an argument, it seems like it's getting to violence instead of them being able to regulate themselves, calm down, walk away. And, sometimes, I think that we have to teach both males and females de-escalation techniques. When you see the conversation is going to an argument, or you see somebody has become irate, it's not the time to keep going down that road. I mean, how often does an argument ever become something constructive?
Yeah.
Hardly ever. It's almost biologically impossible for something productive to come out of an argument or a fight because your brain is in fight or flight. Your higher level of reasoning is reduced or diminished. So it's not the time to have a conversation. It's hard to kind of get off that train, but I guarantee you, Jonathan Majors would, if he could go back in time, I bet you he would have found the intervention a little different than what happened right now because it's cost him greatly.
Yeah.
But let's, maybe teach our young men the cost of, by using him as an example of not controlling your temper, um, not de-escalating a situation or resorting to violence. Because, to be honest with you, I don't care who you are. If dating my daughter, you put your hands on her, I'm coming for you. I mean, you can put it out there right now. I don't care who you are, and
Yeah.
they go better know. So and I know there's a lot of fathers out there like me. That's not something I'm going to tolerate, and I'm not going to teach her to tolerate.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen me put my hands on my wife, so it's also what we demonstrate to our young ladies as well. We got to be careful because if you sit up there abusing your wife and you have a child, you have children, what do you think you're teaching? You're teaching them this is how you respond and this is what you have to deal with.
You know,
So we really
that
got to
I'm
address it at the root.
I'm glad you brought, because I was going to ask you about that. Peel back the layers and find out how that person was brought up. Was he brought up with violence in the house? Was he brought up in the streets where all he seen or she seen was violence, and they think that's the norm? So when they turn around and get into a relationship, they think it's normal to do that, and it's not. And like you said, the warning signs is there, but the problem is love is blind. You think you
Well,
love that person, and all of a sudden they do this, and what's the favorite thing they say? I promise I won't do it again, and they do it again.
I want to talk about that for a second. The promise I won't do it again. What do the studies say? The studies are pretty overwhelming that if they did it once, they're going to continue to do it.
Yeah.
So typically, when a person puts their hands on somebody, I don't care, there's the honeymoon phase where they, apologize, they break, their neck to, try to get the person back. But see, the problem with that is they haven't solved the problem how they got there in the first place.
Right.
And if you understand how the brain works, if there's kind of like grooves, for lack of better terms, in the brain. And once you get used to doing something or responding a certain way, it's almost like those grooves get ingrained, and it's quick to react. You see people that certain things happen and they react before they can even think about it. So when you're in your rational mind, yeah, you can say, I'll never do that again. Yeah, I'll never be that way. But what actions have they taken to make sure that they won't do that again? To retrain the brain on how to respond to stress or some words that were said or whatever the trigger was for the violence, making sure that they've gone to counseling, gone through, some type of corrective behavioral, training, something to show that, hey, I'm taking the time to better yourself. If you come right back, what you're essentially saying is, I'm going to allow you to do this again. And that's what happens, that it continues to escalate.
Yeah.
But you brought up a good point. You said how people are raised. Is that like the cause, or if if they grew up in the streets and all that? I just want to say, just because you're in, you come from, not a well-off background, doesn't mean that violence is necessarily there. You're exposed to it. Sometimes it's just people trying to pursue money or wealth or whatever the case may be that will cause them to deal with someone because they think that this person financially is solid so that they can work on it. They can deal with it. Or they can try to get a financial gain from it. I think that's what you saw with R. Kelly, especially, is that a lot of these women that were abused or whatnot, they were trying to get, further in their career in the record business or the music business or whatever you want to call it. So somehow we have to continue to teach the moral foundation of your value is more important than your financial gain or your fame or whatever the case may be, because I think it should be clear that I've worked with clients and I know people that are pretty well off. Some of them are in entertainment industries and all that. And money and fame does not guarantee you happiness. If you are scared to come home, don't know what's about to happen,
Yeah.
that idea of fame could actually be just an expensive version of hell. And I think you've seen enough in Hollywood. Look at the divorce rate in Hollywood. Look at the situations and the things that are coming out. This isn't the first time violence has happened. From celebrities and whatnot. It happens frequently. Sometimes it's just not reported, right?
Yeah.
But it's easier to hide some of that stuff when you got money. I mean, look at Epstein and look at all these other folks. And it's not just yes, Jonathan Majors got hit pretty hard. It seems like as soon as a person of color does something, it seems like it hits the news and it's out there almost immediately. But let's look at this is not just a black thing; it's a white thing, it's an Asian thing, it's a human thing, and it has to be addressed at the root. And the root is not understanding the value of the woman you're with, not understanding your role as a man, as being a protector, not the one that's doing the assaulting. And also, it's also training a woman how to defend herself.
Yeah.
There's things that you can teach that'll get somebody up off you really quickly. So there's got to be some other things. And also, the best thing is just getting out of the situation when you see that somebody is aggressive and you see that it's ramping up to violence. You got to hit that detour and get out of there because it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. And that's what you have to be real about. Just because he's a celebrity, she's, you think a good fit, but she's, the relationship is rocky or argumentative and aggressive. And sometimes people just bring the worst out of each other. I've seen it, people just they have personality types where they clash and they can't regulate themselves to be proactive, reading situations. One thing I tell clients all the time, and I tell people all the time, is start to notice the patterns.
Yeah.
When do you argue? Is it after your significant other's had a rough day? Is it when a person started drinking alcohol? Is it when they have just been around certain family members? Because what happens a lot of times is those are triggers for when, for violence or for things to happen. So, sometimes people argue when a person's had a rough day at work, they come home and they're set off immediately because they're already irritated, they're already, aggressive. Alcohol is a almost, it's one of the biggest triggers I've seen because number one, how alcohol works, the first thing that's affected is your judgment. And then it's also a depressant. So if you're already feeling down, your judgment's affected, and somebody says something to you that sets you off, you're in a bad situation.
Right.
Because you can't operate like you normally would to find your de-escalation technique. So if you're in a situation where you got somebody that's aggressive, you got someone that you're arguing with, and you're trying to work through better communication, probably don't want to throw alcohol in the mix. And I'm glad we're talking about this before the holiday season.
Yes.
So this is being. How many people do we know? How many families out there, as soon as that alcohol combines with the holiday season, is a problem. So maybe, change the eggnog. Just be eggnog this time, not putting all the extra things in there. I know I'm hitting home, and Jack Daniel's eggnog is not going to appreciate me too much this year, but your family situation.
Yes.
Some families, they fight every year. And then you wonder why some people don't want to come for the holidays. Man, come on now.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be like that. But alcohol, and not just domestic violence isn't just between spouses and partners and all that. it's also family issues. Uncles are fighting with other uncles and aunties, and then the kids are sitting there looking at this mess, going, "Man, is this what Christmas is about?
Mm,
Is this what Thanksgiving is about? You know, families
yeah.
fighting, and is this the tradition that we're putting in place?" So, you need to kind of look at that. Look at what the triggers are with domestic violence. Look at what type of standards, what type of boundaries you want to set up. And if you're not enjoying the holiday, you're probably doing it wrong.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought up domestic violence. This is
Good
so,
morning, Mindy. I see Mindy coming in
yeah.
on here too. Just to say hi and
Okay.
hi to Martha.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
You brought up something, and this I'm gonna share something with you. I had a young man in the studio about a week ago. I videotaped 3 hours worth of his domestic violence, and they got everything
Mm.
documented. Everything's there. To make a long story short, I'm going to have to share that with you for you to see it. Um, she and her mother jumped on him while he had the baby in his arms. Everything is documented. She was arrested for domestic violence. This happened a couple years ago. So they were telling
Mm.
me that somewhere along the line it got swept under the rug. She never did no jail time, never did anything. They contacted CPS, they contacted SVU. It was a situation where the kids are not supposed to be taken out of Bear County. They was taken out of Bear County, and one of the kids was found riding a tricycle on the shoulder, not on the frontage road of the highway. And a lady found and called the police. They called CPS. They lied about their last name, but they found out who it was. But yet, this young man had domestic violence against him, and they got every alleged. I'm gonna say allegedly because it's out there. But they got documentation and everything. And this is what's so frustrating is nobody's helping this young man out. They contacted many outlets. Nobody picked up the story. They got a hold of me, and I said, "Come on down to the studio. Let's record it." So I'm in the process of editing that and getting it out there. But why is it sometimes you went through the police, CPS, SVU, the DA, and nothing happened? That's part of the frustration problem with domestic violence.
Well, it's a situation where a lot of times people don't want to get involved, right? Because one of the most dangerous situations, even for law enforcement, is domestic violence situations. If you notice, if it's a domestic violence situation between a husband and a wife, or a guy and his girlfriend, whatever, they send out usually a male and a female officer because it's been a long process of and a long history of somebody getting attacked, and then you go to arrest the person or whatever, then the other person attacks the police, or and let's just be 100% real. We're in a lot more violent society.
Yeah.
You get involved today, somebody's coming to look for you tomorrow, right? So we have to address that fact. You have to have anonymous ways of getting information out there. And the other thing too is people have to get serious about if you call the police on somebody, you got to press those charges.
Yep.
A lot of times law enforcement come out there and then the person's not willing to press charges. Now, there's a lot of laws, a lot of times the law is set up where if they come out there and they notice injuries or whatever the case may be, they're going to press charges. The state takes over, and presses the charges. But, at this point, once you start getting to that, it's a mess already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My stance is you need to be proactive and deal with those situations. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of mental illness out there. We've got a lot of people that don't know how to de-escalate situations. And once you find yourself in a violent situation like that, it's kind of late, So you got to know who you're around. If you know people are violent, you have to separate yourself, not just for yourself, but especially for the children. That's the part that really
Yeah.
burns me up when there's children involved, because what you're doing is you're repeating the cycle. You're basically giving a template for the next generation that this is how we deal with each other. This is how we deal with situations. This is, you know, this is acceptable, and it's not. It's not acceptable. It's part of the fragmentation of our communities, our families. And it has to be addressed. That violence is not okay at any level, amongst family members, amongst couples quarrels. You hear it all the time. Oh, that's there. You can't get in their business.
Yeah.
You can't. Don't get in their business. That's between them. And then you got kids in there suffering because nobody wants to get in their business. Well,
Right.
thank God I'm a mandated reporter, and I tell people right off the bat, if I notice any signs of harm, psychological or physical, I'm going to address it. I got to call CPS. I got to get in your business.
Right.
But people know that right off the bat. That we're gonna deal with that, and what will happen is kids will let you know because they're scared. They don't want to see mommy get attacked or daddy get attacked at home. They don't want to see that, and they're listening even when you don't think they're listening. They're listening. They're reading body language. They hear these things. They're up in the middle of the night. So something we got to deal with. We got to talk about, especially around the holidays. Because I know that like right now, if you look at the website for domestic violence hotline, they're saying there's going to be a little bit of a wait before you get to somebody. Why? Because these situations are happening.
Right.
People are stressed. They're trying to get all these gifts. The job is not paying as much. We're in a recession. It's you got to know how to deal with stressful situations. I also want to talk about this too. So every year, people go through the same thing where they stretch their budgets, try buying all these gifts and all that. And if you're being perfectly honest with you, those gifts that you spend all that money on, half the time you find them, under the couch or lost or whatever the case may be, or the kids aren't even playing with it. They play with the box more than they do the toy that you just spent all your money on. One of the best Christmas gifts that we got for our family years ago was we all went and we came up with a theme for Christmas, and we all just bought a book that we thought that everybody will like. So everybody just bought one book for the person that they had, kind of like the Secret Santa.
Yeah.
We did that as a family, and I'll tell you something. That was probably one of the best Christmases I had because one, it wasn't a lot of money that was spent. Two, it took people time to kind of go and think about a gift. It wasn't too expensive. You can get a nice book for $20, $30, whatever the case may be, or less, depending on if you get a sale or whatever. And you got something that a person is going to enjoy for weeks or a month or whatever, and then they can keep regifting that. Y'all can exchange that information or whatever, have a book club, And I remember that was just something really that warmed my heart, warmed my heart. Our families got tighter when we did that. So I think that might be something we continue on in our family, but also offer that to other families. And that's also a gift too that gets kids away from electronics.
Yes.
Gets them back to reading. Then you can do other things with that. Have them, critique, each chapter with you. What did they learn? Have them write out a little report. Have them write out, something about what they got from the book or whatever the case may be. So it's just so many things we can do with that, and then everybody kind of grows, from that experience. And it allows you to focus more on the holidays other than getting caught in the rat race shopping, for all these gifts. So just a little thing to kind of get people to, not get caught up in the madness. I refuse to get caught up in the madness. I'd rather just send you an Amazon card or something. So you do what you want to do with it because that's not
Right.
even the reason for the season anyway.
Remember years ago, when Black Friday was a real Black Friday, not every day now, people were
Yeah.
standing outside in lines just to buy something that they may have 15 of them. And you got 100 people standing outside to get one of those things. And then fights
Listen,
erupted all that erupted. I said, I am not standing in line for no doggone gift. I said, I'll wait till January when it goes on sale.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I remember one year it was cold. People had tents outside of a Best Buy.
Yep.
I can safely say Mr. Lee has never stood in the line for no idiot. What you gonna say? $100 or whatever. You spend a whole day in the cold dealing with that mess, dealing with that crowd. I remember people getting trampled to death.
Yep.
Now, come on now. Just to save a couple of dollars, and I know some people that's crazy enough to be out there trying to save $20. They risking their life to save 19.99. Stop it.
Yep.
Just stop it.
I
That make
remember.
no sense.
Yeah, I remember years ago I worked at Walmart. I was a supervisor there, and they told us this is the line they're going to follow. They had us put tape down for people to follow this line, weaving around, doing all that. That lasted 5 minutes. Somebody said, I ain't waiting in line. They want straight. Then chaos broke out. And as a supervisor, we supposed to sit down there and deflect, just deflect that. No, you're not going to do that. I said, you lost your mind. I'm not getting involved with the public getting mad and all. No. The very next day, I turned my paperwork in. I said, this is not worth my life. And I quit right then and
Listen,
there.
listen. You stand in front of that crowd trying to save that $20, $30. You
Yeah.
putting your life on the line. Hey, I have heard stories. I just it's just it completely turns me off from the holiday season to get caught up in all that mess. And I know some people they like to go out to the deals and all that. I do like to see the malls when they're decorated and the lights and all that type of stuff. I just can't deal with the foolishness, man. The
Yeah.
older I get, the less I can tolerate that mess. You know what I'm saying? So enjoy the season, enjoy your family, but just avoid the mess. And whatever you got to do to avoid the mess, do that. If you know that alcohol is going to cause a problem, then you just gonna have to say, hey, we're not serving alcohol this year. We're gonna do something else. We're gonna
Yeah.
serve, punch and drinks of non-alcoholic nature, because every time we, you know, drink alcohol, arguments and all that stuff comes up.
Hey, we,
And also unresolved issues that happen
oh,
seem to
yeah.
come up in the family holidays. Somebody didn't like how somebody did something 10, 15 years ago. Listen, let that mess go.
Yeah. I think
Because
we,
tomorrow ain't guaranteed to anybody.
right.
So when holidays come around, if you're gonna spend time together, make it positive. Or let me just give you a hint: stay your butt at home.
Oh, there you go. See, we call that
Yeah, that's there's no requirement that you have to go around people, even family members that you don't really care for.
yeah.
And you need to have kids doing that. Why? If you know that there's going to be an argument, somebody really don't want you there, they just tolerate you for the holidays. Why go? I know that sounds crazy, but until you get it right, for all year long, don't try to go there on the holiday and then make the holiday even worse, and then you're mad for the whole next year.
And,
Stop the nonsense.
yeah, and kids are smart. Kids will sit down and say, do we gotta go? Uncle or auntie something gonna act crazy once they get that liquid courage, and they do it every time we get together. Kids see that and they don't want to be around that.
Listen, the holidays are supposed to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
But I hear it every year about the tradition of folks having to be around people they don't really want to be around just because they family, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a new news flash. I'm gonna give everybody a gift early for Christmas.
All right.
Family is supposed to make you feel better, not worse. And if they don't make you feel better, if they don't help you to feel positive, if you're doing what you need to be doing, now there's some people that, if you're out here doing the wrong thing and family needs to check you,
Yeah.
maybe not on the holiday, maybe give you a little grace, but you might have to have a conversation. But for the most part, if you're doing what you need to do, responsible, doing the best you can, taking care of your family, whatever, when you come together, that should be a fellowship and a bonding opportunity, and you should enjoy it, look forward to it, and help to edify you and your family and your extended family. If that's not happening, then you might just need to chill, take that time off, enjoy, say, hey, you know what, we can't make it this year. Love you. We'll do a Zoom call. You cut
Yeah.
your turkey, I'll cut my ham, and we'll go on about our business and love each other from a distance. And, watch you some good movies and enjoy the time, that you have with your immediate family or just with yourself.
You
Now if that means you're going to be lonely, find somebody else, one of your friends or another family that you can sit in that y'all get along.
Yep. You just said a key word. My family does this all the time for the Christmases. They will find one movie to watch. Everybody gather around and watch that movie. And when the movie is over with, we had a discussion about the movie. What do you think about it? That's the
Yeah.
creative thinking was coming. Everybody had different ideas, but at the end of the day, it all came to the same result, about the movie. And I missed that because we used to sit down and talk about that all the time. And that was our time together.
Yeah.
Non-electronics. We sat down, watched the movie, thought about it. And my dad could pick out some movie that we look at him and say, really? We watched this. But what's that movie about the penguins? We watched that one time and Happy Feet. That's what it
Oh,
was.
Happy Feet.
Happy
Happy
Feet.
Feet.
I said, why are we
Yeah.
watching the Happy Feet?
Happy.
But it had a meaning to it,
Yeah, you got to. It did have a
Yeah.
yeah. Happy Feet got a good meaning. That's one of my favorite movies to watch with
Yeah.
my daughter because this guy singing. The little boy is different,
Yep.
but he's gifted. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to be, yourself and find your voice. So,
Right.
but the thing I really like about what you just said, and what I like to have families think about is create. I love healthy traditions that bring the family together.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Healthy, positive experiences that bring the family together. If you're getting together and you feel further apart after you leave, or you feel relieved after you leave, why go?
Yeah.
You got to get dressed up, sit there, and knowing, waiting for them to say something stupid, and hoping you're gonna keep your temper. And cancel all that, man. Nah,
Right.
I'm good. Enjoy your holiday from a distance, and I'll enjoy mine. I'll send my love from a distance, and it's a lot easier to cut off a Zoom call than a bad conversation.
Yeah. That's
That's
so
all I can
true.
or FaceTime. Now, I know that's not coming from a therapist. Like, oh, you should be advocating something else. No, I shouldn't. Think about it. What's better? What's healthier? Re-traumatizing yourself every year, or doing something different, and then working to when you can come together once you have your boundaries and set up and say, hey, we ain't going to talk about, we're not going to argue, we're going to enjoy each other's company. If that's not the case, then I'm going to hit this left and get up out of here. And people fly in to be traumatized. It's crazy. They spend money to fly in
Yeah.
to be traumatized. I wish I would.
Oh
You know?
man, and that's crazy when they do that. I mean, when they fly in and they know they're on the flight, we got put up with Uncle so and so and Auntie so. They do it every year, so we got put up with. Just put up with it. Why?
That's what I've been saying that for years. I say it for years, and I get it. You got that. You got like a lot of times the patriarch or a matriarch of the family saying, "Come on, we want you here for the holidays," and your uncle such and such, or your aunt such and such. She's mean, but she knows she loves you and all that. Man, keep your upside down pineapple, whatever cake, and I'm a chill. I'm a chill right here though. I ain't
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know, man. I'm cut a little different. If it ain't gonna be positive on my time off, because I
yeah,
value my time. I really do. And if I'm gonna spend time with people, I gotta like them. Even if and I you can love somebody, but not like them.
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true.
that is possible. And if I love you but I don't like you, I'm not going to spend my premium time with my family with you.
Hmm.
Now, and let me give the therapeutic value of that. when people start sitting around the Christmas tree wondering why nobody want to come over to their house, they might go, man, maybe I need to be a little different. Maybe I need to stop drinking every time, spiking the eggnog so much that I got more alcohol than
Yeah,
eggnog. You
no,
know what I'm saying?
yeah. That's
And then I got to start cussing everybody out, or just because I got the nice house, I can make everybody else feel small. Make that
yeah,
mug sit in that big house by itself, and maybe he'll realize, or she'll realize, it's not what it's about. It's about fellowship. It's about family. It's about love. It's about building. If you aren't doing that, you miss the whole point of the season anyway.
yeah. Sharon just wrote, said, as a teacher, I play that movie in my class and we discuss climate change.
I'm t-
See,
Listen, the
see,
movie is phenomenal. It's so
yeah,
many lessons. I didn't even think about that. As a teacher, that's 100% valuable tool to teach climate change.
yeah,
And also individual, um, bullying, being an individual, being able to express yourself and your gift, and
yeah.
everybody's supposed to be different. And then you got some phenomenal tap and all that good stuff. I love
Mm-hmm.
that movie, man. Especially from being a therapist and working with the youth. I love movies like that.
Now,
What's the other movie? Elemental. There's one about emotions. I can't think of it. Somebody knows the name of it. Put it down in the chat. I can't think of it right now. I never think of this movie, but it's one about it's a Pixar movie. It's about emotions, and it's phenomenal. So if you can think of it, I have to look it up and
yeah.
get it to you before the end of the show.
One thing you touched base on is tradition.
Mhm.
We discussed it with our grandkids one day. What tradition is? We was telling them what tradition was, and one of them said, "Oh, I know, Grandma. That's when we do something once a year, and we do it all the time. We look forward to getting to it." I said, "That's a good answer." And then the other one said, "Tradition is we keep the tradition going on when Grandma died." See, then somebody, I read this somewhere, and it makes real good sense. When you there with your grandma, grandpa, older uncles, and all that stuff, you want to talk to them now, not wait for them to be a ancestor. You want to talk to them while
You
they're
know,
alive.
yeah, you know what? That's so important, Ron. I sometimes I have premonitions and I drive past, especially here in Japan. There's tombs almost everywhere, and this is a place where they come to the tombs and they celebrate the lives of their families. It's a tradition here in Japan. And I think about the wealth of wisdom that is lost because it's in that graveyard.
Yeah,
And because we don't allow ourselves to get past petty differences and all that and learn how to respect and love each other while they're here, all that wisdom just leaves. So we gotta, work on that. We gotta, kind of spend time with seniors. I always recommend if you're lonely, you're single, whatever, spend some time with some seniors.
yes,
If you're out here and you want to know how I can spend some quality time, spend some time in some of these nursing homes.
yes.
Go and visit. You'd be surprised. You think it's going to be for them, but I guarantee you, it's going to be more for you
Mm-hmm.
uh, when it's all said and done. Now, the movie I was thinking about that I love to teach emotional, education and emotional awareness is called Inside Out.
Mm.
Side Out. So that's another good movie that teaches emotions and how to deal with them and all that type of stuff. So that's another holiday. It's really not a holiday favorite, but why not? Why not watch it?
Yeah.
If you got an uncle that's always losing his temper, you're gonna see yourself in that movie. Maybe he might get something out of it. But I'm gonna tell you, one of my favorite. There's two favorite movies. Actually, there's three. One just came out, Jingle Jangle.
You're right.
That was phenomenal. I always watch that one. Of course, I got to watch A Christmas Story.
Right. Yeah.
And one of my other favorites is Polar Express. Now, a
Oh
lot of people don't
yes.
realize that the Polar Express actually started in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's where the train starts, and then there's a part where it goes by the Herkesheimer store. And I'm showing my age, But when I was little, I used to sit in that. They had a train at in Herkesheimer where you would sit up there, and you would be sitting there in the train, and your family would be buying your little Christmas gifts. I just now figured it out as an adult. That's what they was doing. They was buying the gifts, and we were going around the train there. But that train actually influenced, I think, the Polar Express train. Going up to see Santa, and shout out to, I
Yeah.
don't know if Lisa's listening, but there's a little girl on there that looked just like one of my wife's girlfriend's daughters, exactly, like shockingly. So
Wow.
Polar Express is a tradition in our house, and plus I love hot chocolate, so it's one
Yeah.
of my favorite cups when they get out there and start doing that.
Somebody
But
just
anyway, the
somebody
games were good.
yeah, somebody just typed
And
in.
everybody's got to go see Wonka too. The new
Oh
Wonka
yeah. Yeah, I seen that.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So we went
It
to go see
is.
that. So there's a lot of family bonding material right there for you. Just good for the family, good for your immediate family, good for a big family get together, and actually going to the movie theater on
Yes.
Christmas tradition for a lot
Hmm.
of families. You know, and
Somebody just
then
put down somebody just put down Christmas Vacation, another movie. But I
yeah, that's
remember,
funny. That's a
yeah,
funny one.
yeah. So you gotta have some comedy in there. But if you watch some Christmas movies and you watch them and the kids are watching them, I love to hear the kids interact. Say, "Grandpa, that's something that you would do." And I said, "Wait a minute." They relate things when they see the character to their mom, the dads, or grandpa, and stuff. And it's nice to hear that interaction from the kids because they're paying attention. And it's something usually positive that they say, "Well, Grandpa, you do that all the time." I said, "Yeah, they got that for me, and I still haven't got paid for it." I'll say something like that, and they just start laughing and. But kids look at things like that, and they relate to their family when they see
Yeah.
movies like that, and that's good interaction.
Yeah. That's the good stuff, man. That's what I love. That's what I hope for the families, all the listeners on the show, that you'll have some good quality time with your family. Movies, get out, break out the board games. Like we getting back into what's this game over here? I got my Uno.
Uno.
So they got all these different Unos, and you can kind of create your own card, Jenga. And we're competitive in this house, so we got some serious Uno battles that go on. But
Yeah.
spend some time, quality time with your family. You will not regret it. If it's positive interactions, and
Right.
then maybe try to find somebody who's maybe spending the holidays by themselves. If there's been a death in their family, or they've lost a spouse, a loved one, don't let them sit in that house by themselves over the holidays. Reach
Right.
out. Reach out to loved ones, neighbors, seniors. Reach out to military personnel, people that just maybe completed basic training and can't make it home. Shout out to the San Antonio, Texas area. A lot of basic trainees that maybe couldn't make it. Contact the base and see if you can come by and just bring some cookies. Just let them know that they're being thought about if they couldn't make it back for the holidays. So
Yeah. Oh
I
man.
always have to put my plug in for the military.
Oh yeah. And we have to because this is Military USA right here in San Antonio. And I tell
Mhm.
this story all the time. I was at HEB one day a couple years ago, and military. She was in line, and she had a baby with her and all that stuff. But something told me. I went up there. I seen a total. I said, "Ma'am, I got this." And I,
Wow.
and I paid for a girl. She looked at me. She said, "You didn't have to do that." I said, "No, I didn't. You didn't have to join the military to protect us either." So
Mhm.
and I went
There you
on
go.
and I went on and I paid for her groceries. And it was one time that we were out, me and my wife was out, and it was Mother's Day, and this military lady was there with her son, and it was Mother's Day, and we overheard her talking that the dad had passed away, and they're out there celebrating Mother's Day. I looked at my wife and said, "We're gonna pay for her lunch," and that's what we did.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, you do things out of your heart, not because you have to, it's because you want to. And what did God always say? He loves a joyful giver.
That's right. That's right. And you'll be blessed for it.
Yeah.
You'll be blessed for it. It's a good feeling to help out folks, and sometimes not even let them know that it's you.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
we didn't tell that lady it was us. She wanted to know who it was so bad. I told the waitress, don't tell her. Don't tell her at all. It's just a
Yeah.
gift.
Yeah. I mean, we need more of that. I mean, I guess, and I don't know about you, Ron, but I am really in the holiday spirit this year. I
Yeah.
think I just needed it. I've been to more holiday parties this year for work and with friends and it just with everything that's going on in the world, is you really need to lean in those positive experiences. So that's
Yeah.
another reason why I've been really on that this episode is or this this time because I think we need to when you have that time off, that's a key part of self-care is spending some quality time doing some things for you.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody takes this time as all the listeners that are listening in the power of my voice and on this from this radio station, take care of yourself this year. Yeah, I know that might
Amen.
sound crazy, but take care of yourself. We've been through a lot this year, these past couple of years actually.
Oh, yeah. We've been through
So
a whole
sure you take
bunch.
care of yourself by helping to take care of others. Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you it's going to come back to you tenfold if you do love on some other people, find some folks less fortunate, give to them. Even sometimes if you don't have it, you can give your time. You can give something, and then make yourself feel better. And then do some things that you enjoy. You
Yeah.
know, um, take care of yourself, get some rest. All that good stuff.
And that's what we need to do. We need to start doing that. Taking care of yours. You said the key word, take care of yourself. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were saying what's going on with their life and everything. And I said, well, you know what? You can't continue doing anything if you don't take care of yourself.
No,
You come home depressed and you're crying and all that. Why are you crying? I said, take care of yourself first, then you can take care of that situation. But if you don't take care of yourself, that situation gonna overwhelm you. I hope I said that right to him, Joseph.
well, hey, listen, you said it right, and this is one thing I tell people all the time. I said, when you on an airplane, and if crisis happens, and that oxygen mask drops down, what do they tell you to do?
You put it on first before you take care of anybody else.
You put it on yourself first, because if you don't put it on yourself first, you're gonna be no good helping anybody else. So what good
Right.
is it? All y'all passed out and the oxygen mask sitting there. So you put it on yourself first, then you can look over and help somebody else. So hey, when that altitude gets high, when problems start stacking up and you hit some turbulence, go ahead and put that oxygen mask on first so that you can help other people.
Yeah.
Holidays is the time to put your oxygen mask on. Relax, rejuvenate, so that you can go on back and continue on your work with a fresh and renewed mind,
Yeah.
and probably do it better. Because sometimes you get in that rut, you start doing things over and over again, it's not getting the results because you need to sit back and look at what you're doing and maybe make some adjustments. You can't do
Exactly.
that with an exhausted mind. You have to do that with a refreshed mind. I think in the word it says that God will give you rest and renew your mind, right? If Craig
Hmm.
was on here, he'd throw the scripture out there. So you have to
Yeah.
have Craig throw that scripture, but you got to, it's really important, and you know where I'm living and the view I got, man, I renew
Yeah.
my mind every couple of days. I sit out there, I let this water, and it's one of the lessons I learned living next to the ocean. The ocean is constantly renewing itself.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it, it's constantly renewing itself. So even after the typhoon, the water was kind of murky, right? But within a day or so, that water was so clear. Why? Because all the debris and all the other stuff was brushed away, and all that, that wind and all that stuff, it caused a cleansing, to happen. So,
Yeah.
we gotta constantly, even in the storm, we gotta allow ourselves to be rejuvenated. And you go through the storm, but you don't live in it. You know what I'm saying? That storm
Right.
might last a few days, it might last a while, but once you weather it, you rest. So use this holiday season to rest. Hey, listen, I love y'all, but don't call me on Christmas. Let's just say Merry Christmas. If it's an emergency, if it's something going on, I'll guarantee you you go on the voicemail. I guarantee, and
I'm
then I'll
calling.
call you back later.
I'm gonna call
Uh,
you at midnight just to mess with you. It's like your boy Glenn says, I'm gonna call Joseph and wake him up. He woke me up so many times.
yeah. Hey, look. So, certain people, you got to take the call because
Yeah,
we just got you got it like that. But but here's the thing. Here's a little secret. I love talking to people I love talking to. So it don't matter what time it is.
yeah,
I always mess with you. And look, if I'm too tired, I'm gonna be like, hey, look, I'm asleep. I love you, but hey, I gotta talk to you
yeah.
tomorrow because I don't even know what I'm saying right
Well,
now. Or it's going to voicemail.
I'm gonna let everybody know when Joseph first got out there, he called me and I looked at it. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And my wife said, "Who is this?" I
Hey,
said, "Joseph." He lost his track of time, but I answered the phone though.
you did, and hey, you got me a couple times too. Now, don't
Oh
act
yeah,
like I
yeah,
was the only one.
yeah. I
That
did.
14-hour difference is something else, man.
Yeah, that time. Yeah, the time zone is different, but we do communicate with each other, and that is the key right there. Communication, regardless, because I would not
Yeah,
call you in the middle of the night if it wasn't an emergency or something. Because my mom used to always say she dread them phone calls or knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning because it's never nothing good.
no, yeah. But I tell you, man, I'm gonna tell you something too. Preparation deters poor performance. And the one thing I will say is, we everybody in my immediate family, my San Antonio family down there, I think everybody's prepared pretty well.
Yeah,
So if I hear a call, I know you don't call usually with a problem, you usually call with the situation and a solution.
yeah,
And that makes the call a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that that's what when I call, we talk about a lot of different stuff, the news, so we can kind of, put some things forward on the show.
yeah.
But it's important that we, stay up on those things, and so that we get on here, we can talk about them. Nobody wants to challenge us yet, man. This is amazing. We have
I
been
know.
on this show for over a year, and that one person that has called us and said, "Well, I disagree, and this is what I think." I'm waiting for that to happen one day.
I'm
I'm
waiting
ready. I
for it
got all these
too.
screens up here. I'm ready. I prepare for battle every time, and you know how when you prepare for battle, guess what? Half the time it doesn't come because you're prepared.
Well, I'm gonna tell
So
everybody. I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm upset with Joseph and Martha. The reason why I am, Martha showed me this computer screen, and Joseph went out and got one. And Christmas is right around the corner. Y'all could chip in by brother one of them screens, all right?
I was the one Martha got. I
Oh,
can't find. I
I,
can't find that thing.
I think
My screen ain't as big as Martha's. Martha's will fill up my
shit.
whole desk. I got like,
Martha got a screen that wrapped around half her office.
yeah. Hey, when I get back to San Antonio, I'm buying that Joker.
Yeah, I tell you
Just from my
what,
office. He's buying it half the time. I want a screen to wrap around my desk, Martha.
because
And hey, I can give y'all my APO box if y'all want to chip in and give me one. I'll give Sydney this one,
I
and
said
I'll take that
I
one.
said to Martha, you're gonna come in your job one day and the screen gonna be gone, and I got it. I already told her I'm gonna take it.
Hey, look, I know Martha. Hey, look, I know Martha's husband now. You ain't gonna want to take that screen
All
now.
right, I know him
You,
too. Yeah, yeah.
you don't want. Hey, I don't think. I think he's a nice guy, but I think you flip that switch,
Oh
it's
no.
gonna be a
Oh
different
yeah, yeah,
situation.
yeah. But he's all right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
He is. But hey, so
Yeah.
look here. Oh look, 1 minute to spare.
Look at
Yeah, that's
that.
outstanding. I'm not
And
taking no questions or nothing because I know you.
I
So
have no
next
crazy
question will be
questions.
after the holiday.
I have no crazy
Uh,
questions. I have no crazy questions today. I'm a chalk this up to next week when we talk about New Year's coming up. The resolutions that everybody make that they never fulfill.
well, hey, we already put the help out there, brother Tomas Henderson. Mr. Henderson was on, and he was talking about the strategically thinking to attain realistic results last week,
Yeah.
and he was available. You can check the last week's information, get his information. Call him up there in New York. A very strong member of the Impact Collaboration team. You can go to my website, wherever it's at, over here, somewhere over there. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
it. Yeah,
reverse.
it's over
There,
there.
go to
Uh-huh.
iccsmi.com. He's crazy. So I'm doing the opposite point this way. Yeah, and he got his information. You can give him a shout out. Mr. Mara Spears. We got Craig Washington, life coach, Christian life coach. Who else we got on there? We got, actually we got about two or three other people that is coming on board. They're getting through the process of getting on the website and getting everything set up.
Yeah.
So, check them out. Dr. C, that does some phenomenal life coaching. So we got a nice team together. So you don't have to just call me. You got to diversify. I got some talented folks that I love working with. Miss Martha Rice, she's already the bomb. You already know that. So you can call her for relationship stuff and for spiritual relationship counseling, all the above. So
Yeah.
it's right there. Dang it, I said to get it right. Go to ICCSMI.com.
You had a point.
You
You
go
had a
ahead and
point in
get
the right
that
direction.
information.
You all right? All right, my
Yeah, I
brother.
got there eventually.
Yeah. Well, you have yourself a very safe and Merry Christmas, and once again, happy
Merry Christmas.
birthday! Happy birthday to Tiffany. And
Thank you.
yeah,
And for her.
that's my girl right there. She'll tell it like it is too. And matter of fact, I need to reach out to her again because I got a show I want to do with her coming up, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna get her on sometime next in January.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Vachero, I wish I could have been there for that concert. Shout out to the Justice Band out over there in San Antonio. They
Yes.
put on a great Christmas show. I'm missing out, man. I'm missing my folks over there in San Antonio. But definitely appreciate the love, appreciate you coming in and being one of our faithful people on Facebook. And shout out to all the listeners, to everybody. Wish you a happy holiday season. Please get rest. Don't
Yes.
stress. It's just a test, and you will be all right at the end. So I'm going to
Amen.
sleep. It is now 11:33, and I'm done.
All right, brother. We
Oh,
appreciate it.
what's the word, man? I gotta say it. Your actions speak so loudly. I can't hear a word you're saying. So I like the actions here on WSAN Radio, man. You're saying a lot, helping a lot of people, platforms, getting this information out. So, I appreciate the platform. I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
I know your listeners are appreciating what's going on. I keep getting feedback and calls about the show. I like what we're doing and how we're elevating the conversations that need to be elevated. And it's good to be a part of this, man.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Well, y'all be safe, and we will
Will do.
talk to you next week.
Talk to you next week.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, everybody. That was Joseph Lee doing this thing right here on WSAN Radio. We really do appreciate